Our 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time, from the first book of Kings. The Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream. At night God said, "Ask something of me, and I will give it to you." Solomon answered, "O Lord my God, you have made me your servant king to succeed my father David, but I am a mere youth, not knowing at all how to act. I serve you in the midst of the people whom you have chosen, a people so vast that it cannot be numbered or counted. Give your servant, therefore, an understanding heart to judge your people and to distinguish right from wrong. For who is able to govern this vast people of yours?" The Lord was pleased that Solomon made this request. So God said to him, "Because you have asked for this, not for a long life for yourself, nor for riches, nor for the life of your enemies, but for understanding so that you may know what is right, I do as you requested. I give you a heart so wise and understanding that there has never been anyone like you up to now, and after you there will come no one to equal you." The word of the Lord. Our second reading from Paul's letter to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, we know that all things work for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. For those he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, so that he might be firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. And those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified. The word of the Lord. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure buried in a field, which a person finds and hides again, and out of joy goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant searching for fine pearls. When he finds a pearl of great price, he goes and sells all that he has and buys it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net thrown into a sea, which collects fish of every kind. When it is full, they haul it ashore and sit down to put what is good into buckets. What is bad they throw away. Thus it will be at the end of the age. The angels will go out and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Do you understand all these things?" They answered, "Yes." And he replied, "Then every scribe who has been instructed in the kingdom of heaven is like the head of a household, who brings from his storeroom both the old and the new." The Gospel of the Lord. In a movie of Hallmark Channel, a photographer hooks up with a writer who has written a book on the search for a great pearl in a section of the world. But the writer wrote the book only based on tradition. He actually didn't know if there really was a pearl. And they both hooked up and they both traveled into the forest to find that pearl. In the end, they found it, but realized that they were not allowed to really tell anyone, that it would be their secret so that others can find it like they did. But what they eventually discovered wasn't the pearl, was their love for each other. How many people spend time trying to find that pearl of great price for their lives? Many believe that money will be the pearl that solve all their problems. People spend countless thousands of dollars on lotteries hoping to strike it rich and never work again. Some seek power to be able to command others around them. Others seek satisfaction in the physical world of sex and drugs. Others know fentanyl is deadly, but they use it anyway for the pleasure that it can bring until it kills them. Jesus is speaking in Matthew's Gospel about a buried treasure. Some are buried, others sold. It is all about what is valuable to each individual. Growing up, I remember one friend telling us all the time, "I can't wait to make my first million." I saw that person years and years later in my hometown driving a cab. He was hooked on drugs and alcohol. What are we looking for, each one of us? Young people seek joy and pleasure in their lives. New York City, a 14-year-old saw something on TikTok called subway surfing. He thought that would be a big kick, so he jumped on the top of a subway and began to ride it. And as the subway went down into the tunnel, unrealizing what was happening, the boy was killed. I always wanted this life for myself, the Franciscans. Since I was 4th grade, I told my parents I'm going to be a priest. I followed that wish all through seminary high school, all through seminary college, and all through seminary theology. It's what I wanted. It's what I went after. It's what I got. Jesus is trying to tell us that the kingdom is all about sharing ourselves with others, helping those in need, especially those who have no one else. It is the seekers of peace, an end to violence, care for one another, and for this earth we live on. It's about helping young people today to see the real value in who they are as people and to live with respect for everyone. Solomon was asked by God what he wanted. He wanted wisdom, and he got it. The greatest wisdom that no one else has ever had. We should learn, everyone, that the joy and happiness doesn't come from outside of ourselves, but is within ourselves, that pleasure. We must search within for all the grace that God gives us to find what we need. In short, finding the pearl of greatest value is finding happiness and putting things first through Jesus Christ. Wife asks her husband, "Honey, what would you like for Christmas?" Big smile on his face. He says, "I want something in the driveway that goes from 0 to 100 in just a few seconds." She says, "Okay." Christmas morning, he's all excited. He gets up early, looks out the window at the driveway to find the bathroom scale. Have a good week, everyone. God bless.